Hello, everyone. I'm Josh Ochs with smartsocial.com. You're listening or watching us on video on the smartsocial.com podcast. I'm live here in Los Angeles. And today, you've heard this from me before a few times. We believe that if you're sharing the stuff and you're teaching people how to improve their lives or whatever you do, why not also share it with other people? So today, you're hearing me being interviewed on another podcast. I'm so honored to get the chance to share with their community. I'm going to tell you all about the guest that is interviewing me today, but I thought I'd bring you along for the ride. You know, here at smartsocial.com, we keep kids safe on social media 0 to 18 years old so that they can someday shine online, so that when they're in high school, they launch that public portfolio so that all of a sudden they are being found online with a positive image on Google with all kinds of great things. In fact, just a few minutes ago, I was at a breakfast with my mentor and a woman came up to me and she said, "Hey, sir, I know who you are. Josh, I've heard you speak." And I went, excuse me? And my mentor had big eyes. He went, "Oh, what's about to happen?" She said, my daughter goes to this high school, or used to, and this junior high, and she made a mistake, and I went to your parent night event, and you changed the course of our family's lives because I heard that she should be on the web from you, Josh, and she should be safe, because people will Google her, and you changed the trajectory of our family. And right there in front of my mentor and I, we were both blown away that 5 years later, this woman said, "I know who you are, and you helped us with a plan." And that's what I want to do today. That's why I have an awesome guest here today who's interviewing me. And I thought I'd record this because this is too important to keep hidden. It's too important for people to think, oh, avoid the internet or believe what one person said way over here. Today, we're all about finding what's right for your family. And I've got a long-term plan, and I am passionate because we see it working with everybody. Today, I have Marianne Hind, Director of Operations with the Social Media Research Association, also known as SMRA Global. You can find them by clicking the links below. smra-global.org. She reached out to me and said, "I've got 4 questions for you. I'd love for you to share with our audience some of the social media safety, online branding, good and bad apps. How do you see this world, Josh? What's your perspective?" And I said, let's do this. All right. So to my audience, thank you for joining us. I'm going to hand it over. Marianne, it's an honor to be on your podcast. Let you take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josh. And it's great to have you on. Like I said when we were initially talking, I think what you do is fantastic. And I think coming at it from both angles, keeping kids safe and building their brand now before they get to that age, where they're 18, 19, starting college and so forth, is so valuable. And I think because social changes so much, I'm really happy to have you on because you do stay on top of it. And your message is so important for parents, for marketers, for so many people. So for our listeners who may not be aware of what you do, I'd like to just have you start by giving a little overview of what it is you do, and then we can dig into the good stuff.
Awesome. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Josh Ochs with smartsocial.com. This is also available on video. And if you're watching or listening, smartsocial.com keeps kids safe on social media so they can someday shine online. And that's one of our key differentiators is we have a 0 to 18-year plan for your kids, meaning 0. Yes, when they're 0, they all of a sudden at 1 year old or before then, they have a little bit of FaceTime. What's good screen time? What's bad screen time? We've got a few answers there, thanks to our friends and all these the medical doctors who are looking at brain scans of kids. But then where people are really struggling right now that Smart Social gives a plan is really in elementary school all the way up to high school. How do we keep kids safe online, mental health? How do we get them positive and happy, and then launch them into productive screen time and social media use so they can get into college, internships, and careers? I've got a dream plan. I started my career many years ago at the bottom of the rung at Walt Disney Studios, learning from the smartest marketers how they brand a product. And I took that and we started applying it to the internet. And what I learned from these smart marketers is we need to put our best foot forward. And although they didn't have much of the web then, I get to take all those wholesome family values that they taught me and turn it into something so that kids learn, wow, I'm good at these things. Let me highlight those so people, when they Google me, it comes up. And that's what smartsocial.com does. We help about 1 million people a year who visit our website to learn about good and bad apps. I'm going to walk you guys through a couple of them, but the apps are Snapchat. There's a Meetme app, which is a dangerous dating app. We're going to look at a few of these. TikTok is really hot right now. So, but that's kind of a little bit of an overview of our company, from safety all the way up to shining online.
Yeah, and that's absolutely two very important aspects of it. And I think, you know, as you very well know, and I know a lot of our members and listeners know, that it's so important, your social profile. And kids who will be entering the workforce in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, this is all they know is social media. They've learned, almost as we as parents have learned. I do have 3 kids of my own. So I've been able to watch how this has all evolved and how to teach them. You know, we're well past the point of the internet is forever. You know, now we have to teach them, you know, like you're saying, the branding, to make sure that when they get to that age, they do have a good online reputation. There's nothing out there that they may have done or said. And more importantly, even to keep kids safe. Because I think with the anonymity of, you know, the internet, that gives all, you know, cyberbullying and all of the mental health issues. You know, there's just so much. And these apps change continually. Like you're saying, TikTok's new. The other thing I do want to touch on too is Reddit. As you know, people don't think of that as an app per se, or something you might need to keep your kids safe on, or even be as familiar, and that's a big one.
If I may, Marianne, can I give everybody a plan for their kids? I believe in rather than just looking at a dam and going, there's a little leak right there, and us putting our thumb on it, right, and just going, oh no, I don't have enough thumbs to put the to cover the leaks. We're going to build a whole new structure. I'd like to, and I think I've been told by people in our speeches, and I am by no means special, but I have this podcast, much like you have it. I get to interview the world's smartest people and take their information and really just make it understandable and simple for people like me who want to just get behind a clear, honest, balanced plan. And that's what parents say is, I came to your speech confused on this topic. I'm leaving comfortable. And other parents have said, you have a balanced approach. Think of it like sugar. You can't avoid sugar, but you want to limit bad sugars for your children so that they have a balanced, healthy approach to it. Moderation. So I'd like to give you a moderation, if I may, for just a moment, our 5-pillar plan for every family. Is that okay?
Yeah, go right ahead. I'm all
now,
ears.
First, for everybody listening, a lot of people are throwing their kids a phone and social media really early, and we see a phone and social media as a car. And I like to relate things to things we already understand. We all already understand cars. And the reason why I say that is you would never hand the keys to your 16-year-old kid immediately without fully training them on what could go wrong or right in a car. And what I mean by that is they need to be safe. They need to see others driving well, like you, the parent, but also your kid could be the safest driver in the whole world, but you still know that I would argue they should never be out at midnight driving around, because there are distracted drivers, drunk drivers, and just nothing good is happening in certain moments. Even if they're the best driver, other people could hurt them, kill them, just bad things could happen. Tragic outcomes, right? So we treat this like a vehicle, and we call it the digital driver's ed, to take that wisdom that you already have as a parent and put it back into how do we apply it to your kids, because this device can get them anywhere. And when I say device, I mean iPhone or Android and iPad. Now, our first thing, in 3rd grade, you could start earlier or later, but 3rd grade is really all about driving safely on social media. You have got to talk about how to spot the good and bad apps, how to spot people. There's predators out there who are talking with your kids on the apps that your kids are on. And I'm not here to just scare you without giving you a plan, but what I want you to do is I want you to be on every app your kids are on, right? This is a little bit of a key takeaway. We're going to compartmentalize it. Driving safely, be on every app your kids are on. Know that your kids never have privacy in your eyes. If you gave your kids a car, you probably would, because you own that car, you're on the title of that car, you're paying for the insurance and everything. You're probably going to always have a set of keys to that car, because you know that you want to check that trunk and make sure your son or daughter's friends didn't put something illegal in the trunk, like a substance that could get them arrested or whatever. And you also want to know where that car is at and be able to take it away. So I want to give you guys permission. If you're a parent right now and you're going, oh, my kid, I want them to have the freedom. No, I want to be gentle. You can be a great parent, and your kids might still dislike you from time to time, but there should be almost zero privacy if your child is under 18 years old and they live under your thing. You need to protect them. We don't have enough time to go over how very bad the situations turn out, but you have my permission to know their passcode, to be on every app they're on, and to have a social media safety contract with them. That starts in 3rd grade before they get a phone. That's important to note, right? And now if they already have a phone, I'm not shaming you, but I'm saying it's time, if they're already driving and they didn't learn how to parallel park correctly, or they didn't learn how to make sure, we're going to go teach it to them. We're going to roll it back because we could hurt somebody else. 4th grade is time for mental health. And you could do it earlier, you could do it later, but 4th grade is when we show students how to be positive, how to look out for your friends. We don't tell them, hey, if you're feeling bad, let us know. We say, your friends might feel bad. Here's why. They could have what we call SAD, sad, stress, because maybe you're losing on sleep, kids. These things are addictive. Let's explain to you how gamified the phones and the apps are. And TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram are all the same. They're all trying to get you to they're gamifying us. What does that mean? They're trying to get us to open the app as much as possible and giving us points to log in. Students, I want you to know this so that if you're ever stressed, which is S, stressed, it's going to lead to A, anxiety, and it's going to lead to maybe depression. Your friends might be depressed. SAD, stress, anxiety, depression. It can come from less sleep, fear of missing out, all this stuff. We teach students how to look out for their friends, and they listen when they have a task of helping others. Like, oh yeah, I can be helpful. I have something to do. But what's really important is that they are also, they're going to apply all this stuff to themselves without them knowing. So that's a big deal. Parents, talk to your kids about being positive. It's not just, should I avoid this app? There's a new app out each week. What I want is to give your kids a foundation of safety plus looking out for their friends and dialoguing with you, the parent. You are the only parents. You're the only safety app that will wake up at 3 a.m. and go, something doesn't feel right. Where's my kid? And you're going to have that motherly intuition. Oh, yeah. Yes, moms wear the safety hat in most families. I speak around the country, and the more moms show up, moms, I'm rooting for you. I am your cheerleader. And I want you to know that you are a perfectly normal mom if right now you're stressed about the negative consequences that could come out of your child's future if you're granting them access to this. So if you're frustrated, boy, are we your friends, and we're gonna guide you through it. So we talked about safety in 3rd grade. Positivity in 4th grade, mental health, so that your kids feel good. And we're going to talk about even more about that in a moment. 5th grade is all about teaching your kids how to Google themselves so they can see their online brand and how many other people are diving into it. This is a game changer. This is the thing, unlike anyone in the whole country, when we teach it to students, it changes the playing field, because kids go, wait, what? You're going to teach me how to Google myself? And we treat them like adults. And rather than telling them what not to put online, we show them what everybody's putting online. And they laugh at it. They go, whoa, this is interesting. And then they start to see that even though they're not online, other people who could confuse their results with them are online. Because everybody says, my daughter's not online. I'll be ready to Google them when she's online. Too late. She's already creating Google results. The school's creating Google results around them. Other celebrities, inappropriate people. It takes too long to fix that. You got to Google them in 5th grade or earlier. Okay, 6th to 8th grade. Now we're into middle school. Now, a lot of people just say, here's Instagram, keep it private. But what we do is we flip it. We say you should be building a Google site, a private portfolio. You can see my version of it at joshochs.net. We teach students how to plan out their route in the car and turn their activities into an online portfolio so they know what they're good at. They make wise decisions along the way. What does that mean? Well, let's say there's a student named Josh, like me, and I'm applying to UCLA someday. Well, by thinking in middle school about my Google footprint, I start to develop a little baby website that is private until you're ready for it to be public. Parents, if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know, I heard predators can see a website. It turns out you're more unsafe statistically on Instagram and Snapchat than you would be following my plan. My plan, in fact, will keep you from a tragic outcome. If you follow this plan backed by psychologists and counselors, principals all over the world, mapping out that private portfolio gets a kid thinking, all right, I'm working with my mom and dad. I'm good at music. I can play the trombone. I'm a football player. I swim. I volunteer. Whatever those 3 activities are, they put them on this portfolio with a picture. They build out a page for each one. So it's like a 4-page total thing, including the front page. And it starts getting them going, you know what? I know what I stand for. I'm using fun digital tools to build out my resume. I need more photos on this page here. And they start to lay out a framework, guys, of what they want the foundation of their future to be on this silly little portfolio that is life-changing for a child. Here's why. Marianne, statistically, kids will either see meanness at school, bullying at school, or they'll be bullied. If someone were to bully me, and I had sat down a month before with my mom, and she said, hey, we got to put these activities on your little website and use the smart social curriculum that at smartsocial.com, all about this. Then the mom goes, all right, but you're playing football too. Like, what are we going to put here? What do you want to stand out for? Well, I want to stand out for this, this, and this. And I want to talk about this award. Then inside what happens is not only are they prepping for it to be public someday, so their Google results are different and better, but also on the inside, if that child is ever bullied, they go, wait, that kid said some mean things, but I know what I stand for. I'm not going to just be bumped around because my mom or my dad, we worked on this together. I have a purpose online instead of listening to that bully just make fun of me. It's no longer a pastime. And that's where this private portfolio actually gives kids a self-confidence on the inside, believe it or not. And then in high school, we launched that into getting that car on the road and driving in high school, the digital road. We teach students how to turn all their accounts and their private portfolio into a positive resume in high school. They get noticed by colleges, future employers, be proud of it. Other kids get jealous. Well, I want a portfolio like that. I want a website, as my little 5-year-old nephew says. And in fact, I have one for my 5-year-old nephew to show you it's never too early to start building screen time with kids to build a presence. So quite more than you probably thought, but rather than just looking at the bad apps, I want to show you a plan that gets kids going in middle school, junior high, so that they're public in high school and safe online.
Right. Now, can I just ask a couple quick questions here?
Yes.
As you were going through this, I was thinking a whole lot of things.
And if you're listening to this right now and you want to watch this on video, there's a link below. Marianne's team has put probably a link below to our YouTube video so you can watch this on our YouTube. Okay, and go ahead, Marianne. Sorry.
That's a great point, and we will be putting the link. And I do recommend that you watch along, or even do this in lieu of the podcast recording if you're a visual person, because you are going to see a lot of great things. And I know if you're just listening, you can't see what I'm referring to, but Josh did put a visual up here from his site with this driver's ed, the step-by-step he just went through. But a couple quick things is that what I love, one of the things is how you're having them do this portfolio. Like you said, it's not only teaching them the good and how to be responsible, but it is giving them that back-end self-confidence, especially as kids are going into that middle school age, which you and I both know, not an easy time. And I think with the social and the internet, it's a lot more to navigate than it used to be. So I love that you're putting that positivity and that self-esteem component into it without the kids even realizing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's so much because we want them to, and one of the things, parents, if you're listening to this, professionals, it doesn't matter. Before I did this with students, I traveled the country teaching some of the world's biggest brands, Fortune 100 brands, how to use social media in a positive way without a budget to really put your best foot forward for your customers, being authentic, and it's because when I ran for city council 10 years ago, I was the youngest guy on the ballot, suburb of Los Angeles. And I actually it was a volunteer program, Marianne, where you get paid $0, maybe $500 a month to do, feels like 100 hours a month of work. Maybe more than that. And it was a volunteer program. I mean, that would have barely paid for whatever. But I was bullied while I was running. Even though I had the most positive campaign, there were 2 people out of 3,000 people that I met on their doorsteps. I knocked on 2,015 doors. Some of them had 2 people in each home that were likely voters. And so it was 3,000 voters about, if you look at the math, and I didn't know much, but what I did know is I could help people, I could serve, I could volunteer. But while I was doing that, and you need to know why I do this, 2 people decided to blog about me negatively. They didn't want to meet me. I said, hey, can we go to coffee, blah, blah, blah. And this will happen to adults. This happens to kids. It's the best thing. It's terrible, but it was the best thing ever happened to me because they hurt me emotionally. I was like, why would somebody do this? Right, Marianne? Why would somebody who's volunteering get bullied by 2 adults? I mean, do they know that they're hurting their image? So long story short, my friend said, all right, it's nothing personal. They're just kind of mean people. There's mean people out of 3,000 people that are maybe going to vote for you. There's going to be a couple meanies and deal with it. But then what I quickly realized is, and this is important for every professional to listen to, this is where the rubber meets the road for you. If I realized that, yeah, it hurts, but 2, they're dragging my name through the mud because they're writing about me. Hey, he's too young. Should he even be doing this? He might be a billionaire, which is irrelevant. And they obviously didn't know I was poor because they didn't even look at the car I drove, right? The car that I washed myself, that, it's just like.
Or learn anything about you.
It was nothing about me. It was just, how do we say mean things to distract from the good that this person could do? And parents, students, anyone else listening to this, think about one of the most powerful people you know who has given to the world. I am not comparing myself to these people, but think about Gandhi. Think about Nelson Mandela. Think about, anybody else. And think about if 10 years before they had changed the world or done these great things, had the internet existed and somebody dragged their name through the mud, would they be able to have those opportunities to slowly help people along the way and do amazing things? You might not have believed them. And so what we need to do is protect our image. Yeah, you need to protect your heart and make sure people aren't hurting you, but you also need to go protect your image and build positive results. So why am I telling you this? I set out with my friends after a few days of going, why don't people like me, right? And you're normal if you're wondering, why don't people like you? My friends said, get over it. And they connected me with the smartest people at Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and we figured out how to positively impact Google results. We figured out what's called search engine optimization, and we built a whole plan, this scrappy group of volunteers, the youngest people on the ballot, up against the incumbent mayor, who's a good friend of mine now. I lost to him by a couple hundred votes. I love that guy. But we set out to be, how do we be positive and how do we dominate the internet, because these meanies just want to write negatively about me, and how are we going to become the best in the world? I ended up doing so well at that big companies listened and said, can you fly to our conference and train us how on a $0 you dominated this whole political campaign by knocking on some doors and using social media? And that's my why, is your kids need to understand they need to protect their image before they're bullied. If it happens, if it doesn't happen, they still need to be online because colleges are going to see them. Now, fast forward a little bit, a couple years later, one of the mean people, the bullies, realized they couldn't get a job because they had written so many negative things about me on their personal blog that they had to take them all down. I never once asked them to take them down. I just said, sorry, that's them. That's their thing. I'm going to avoid that conversation. But other people were rooting for me, and they said, we can't hire you because we like Josh. And you're writing all these mean things. I can't do that. I can't hire you. So it all comes full circle. If we take care of our Google results, we're nice to others, and we got to learn that the internet doesn't want us to avoid it. So if you're a parent and you're thinking, first of all, this guy talks a lot, you're right. But second of all, the moral of this story is you cannot avoid the internet. Had I avoided it, people would have written negative things, and that's what you would have found first. And you would have wondered, are they true? But you wouldn't have heard from the other 2,998 people that might have met me who were saying, I actually really like this guy. He's cool. I'm not voting for him, but I respect him. I am voting for my uncle who's also running, or whatever that is. But so we need to hear the whole person's story. And students and parents, I want you to control that story on your Google results. Marianne, how are we doing so far?
We're doing so far so good. And I just wanted to make a quick point to what you were saying about the one that was blogging and didn't get hired. It's irrelevant whether they said, oh, we like Josh. The fact that he was publicly putting this out there and this was his opinion and he was doing this behavior, so many job candidate or job employers now know, as well as I do, they do background online searches to get to know a person better. And if they see somebody behaving like that, in general, it could be about anything, that does paint a picture of who you are. And you may not get that job because of stuff like this that you may have done 2, 5, 7 years ago.
I speak at big companies teaching professionals this as well. I was at an awesome company in Dallas. A lot of us have a phone powered by what they do. And I teach professionals and students this one thing. I go, look, I want all of you to have amazing dream careers. My hidden ambition is to get you into an awesome career. But we're going to get you into a dream college and internship along the way, because if I have a long-term plan for you, it's better for you. But guess what? Every employer wants and every college wants. They want to know that if there is a speed bump at the company and you don't love a certain project or someone's mean to you, but yet we give you all these opportunities and all this training, how will you deal with that? And what I tell students is colleges and employers are truly asking for the following phrase. They're asking, and they don't say this, but what they're really wanting us to do online, we should be ourselves and authentic. But what they're saying is, if I give you all this stuff, Marianne, I give you an office, an unlimited data plan, all this stuff for 4 years at our college and say no to everybody else. If something goes wrong, how will you behave? And I tell students what they're begging for us to say is, yeah, things are going to go wrong, but I'm going to deal with it in a way on social media that's full of positivity and gratitude. I'll have fun with it and I'll say, hey, something happened today. I was volunteering and I fell in the mud. Here's a group photo. My bottom half is full of mud, hilarious, embarrassing, but we built a house for this amazing family who needed it. We did this rather than, oh, this is terrible. It's purposeful, but it's also positivity and full of gratitude. I'm thankful for this opportunity. You can make fun of yourself. You can be self-deprecating, but anytime you're full of positivity and gratitude, you are helping to perpetuate the idea that your past performance is a predictor of future behavior. I'm going to say that again. Any parents are listening, your students and employers, the candidate's past performance is a predictor of their future behavior. That blogger that was quite mean to me, their past performance is a predictor of how they'll behave at a company. The company didn't want them. And good for them, because company's a private enterprise that gets to decide who's going to be a part of our culture. And if that's not a fit of their culture, tearing people down who are volunteers, and if your student at all looks like that, now is your chance to start to change that. I'm gonna hint at that in a minute. Marianne, how are we doing so far?
So far, we are doing good time-wise, everything-wise, and yeah, keep on going.
All right, so I want to talk to people about how to keep your kids safe online. We're at smartsocial.com. I'm going to click at the top on the thing called the app reviews. App reviews. What that does is it shows you our popular app list for teens, tweens, parents, and teachers. We have four modes, 4 buckets, and I call them the green zone, which is a start. It's not the safest area, but it's a start. Then the gray zone, which is warning, there's a lot of messaging involved with other people, and you got to be with your kids on every one of these apps. There's the red zone, which is where predators and anonymous apps exist. And the red zone means that the downside of these apps, the behavior on these apps, downside drastically outweighs the upside. I want you to think about the risk here. The green zone, we're going to look at them because the green zone networks will let you build a resume online. You're going to see some of those apps. It doesn't mean that they're safe. It means there is an upside and that the company is maybe publicly traded, meaning they're going to try and keep you more secure. That's just a start. Green zone is a place where, okay, be with your kids on these apps. The gray zone means you really got to be with your kids on these apps because there's going to be a lot of messaging and it's not going to positively impact your Google results. And then the red zone means stay away from these if you can, because it's just get onto the gray zone or the green zone. And then the orange zone, my friends, at smartsocial.com is what we call the dangerous social media challenges. And this is where kids challenge each other to do stuff. like, oh, eat a Tide Pod and put it on YouTube and maybe you'll become famous. Well, we as adults, we know that's a bad idea, 1, 2, and 3, because A, do you need to become famous? No. B, do you really need your friends to see this? No. And C, the Tide Pod Challenge, while started as a hoax, became a very real thing and kids are getting hurt. So let's look at the green zone. There's a lot of apps. We've got 100 of them on here. Facebook is the first one because it can create a positive image for you. Yes, it's a double-edged sword. Yes, it doesn't mean it's safe. Yes, do not allow your kid to be on there under 13, any of these apps. Please keep them off social as long as you can. And yes, you have to be on every app with your kids. Yes, yes, yes. Because if you're not there, I want you to think of every app as a park. Think of it like Central Park. If you've been to New York like me, I go every once in a while, but New York is amazing compared to Los Angeles. It's just huge and beautiful and incredible. But if you go to Central Park, huge place, it's probably very safe with your kid playing in the park, and they're 50 to 100 feet away. They're playing Frisbee or whatever, running around. It's daytime. You're there. It's safe. You can see your kid. Awesome. Feels great. The weather's great. New York, incredible. Now, if I told you, would you like to go to New York with your kid? You'd probably be like, yeah, during the daytime, that's great. But what if I asked you, hey, would you feel comfortable if your kid going to Central Park without you being there? You'd go quickly, well, they're young. They're only 10. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I'd feel safe during the daytime. Well, would you feel comfortable with your kid being at Central Park at night alone? Well, no. I mean, the Central Park could be the safest place in the world, but we all know that there's people there who alone at night, they might meet who you do not want them to meet. So I want everybody listening here to think of an app like a park. If you're there with them, it's pretty safe. And if it's a safe park and you're there, awesome. I mean, that's great. You're going to be monitoring them on there. You'll understand how the park works. You'll understand what could go wrong. I want you to really feel that park, feel that app, and download it and visit the park first. And no, you probably, if your kid is under the age of 16, you probably shouldn't be on that alone. And you probably should know which parks they're going to, whether there's drug dealers over in that corner or whether somebody got abducted literally from parks. This happens all the time. Predators get kids from apps to go to physical parks and they're gone, right? I mean, this isn't, this isn't hyperbole. This actually happens. Law enforcement are our best friends in this organization, and they use our content all the time. So what I want you to do is think about the app like a park and know that you need to be at every park where your kids are at. And the green zone is a starting place for the good parks. Yes, they have a downside. So Facebook Messenger is another one. Instagram can be good, but you know what? Instagram has a lot of private messaging, and Instagram has a lot of addiction, screen time problems. So we got a lot more that we don't even need to talk about yet, but I'm delighted to dive into it. We have a huge list. I want to dive into some of the gray areas, Marianne, if I may.
Absolutely.
YouTube is actually the #1 social network in the world. People are like, wait, what? It turns out Instagram, it's Instagram and Snapchat are neck and neck kind of. TikTok is coming up close. Every kid has YouTube or watches YouTube videos because they're short, they're bite-sized, and every kid is on YouTube as I audit people all over the country in my speeches. They're like, yeah, we have a YouTube app. And so this is a place where your kids spend a lot of time. So it's in the green zone, but it's also gray zone because it can be addictive. You can message other people. So you got to be really careful here. This actually is the biggest addiction thing ever, is our time and not being able to put the phone down. Okay, we're on to the gray zone. This is where Fortnite lives. Fortnite allows you to message other people and chat with other people while you're shooting people, right? So you got to be on the same app as your kids. We're really torn between, is this good to spend 3 hours hearing 4-letter words, aggressive people, and shooting people, right? You become what you surround yourself with, and that's surround yourself with aggressive people. You will start to use the vernacular that they use. Ask any psychologist, go Google it. It's my opinion backed by information that we see. I got a lot of other apps. The Kahoot app is a good one. Actually, it's a good chance your kids are on it at school. Teachers love using it. We might even move it to the green zone. The Life 360 helps you locate your kids. If you're on Android and they're on iPhone, or you're both on the same system, It is system agnostic, and it lets you locate your kids so that you know where they're at. You don't have to call them and wonder where they're at. Minecraft is okay, but there's a little bit of predators on it. You got to be on it with your kids. We could keep going. Rules of survival probably could be the red zone. Snapchat, gray zone, warning. Threads by Instagram is a brand new messaging app that allows users to stay in constant contact and share private contact with a list of their closest friends. Gray zone, a little interesting. It doesn't create a positive image. And then there's just a lot more. I want to jump into just a couple of them that are hot right now. Is that okay?
Absolutely. And before you go on real quick, if you are only listening to this on audio, I do encourage you, especially if you're a parent, to jump on the YouTube link I'll provide here, because Josh has a great portion of his website that he's going through visually right now that you need to take a look at. And what I'm going to do too is I think I'm going to put a link to the specific page in the show notes for those who, for whatever reason, can't or don't wish to do the video, because this is, especially if you're a parent, this is one site you have to.
Yeah, it took us years of work with us, many staff people to build this. We're in the red zone now. You go to smartsocial.com, click on app reviews on the top menu, app reviews, and it's called our popular teen app guide. So Amino encourages users to explore their interests and connect with strangers. However, the communities are uncensored and everyone on the app is anonymous, right? So warning, red flags should be coming up. Ask FM has been around forever. It's anonymous.
Surprised that's still around, but yeah.
It's still around. We keep it up here because we want people, is it hot right now? No. This is a lot.
That's not to say it won't be again,
Yeah, exactly. But they don't die. These apps don't die. Big O Live is a video streaming network, encourages users to randomly chat with strangers. We're not targeting just one app, but Bumble encourages students lie about their age to get on Bumble so they can date, people. So a 13-year-old could be swiping with a 55-year-old. You just have to be careful. Call of Duty Mobile, it's one of the most popular video games of all time. Millions of people take the violent multiplayer battles on the go, where all you do is shoot people. There's a ton of blood. There's aggressive. You're yelling at people through the headset. You can go watch my whole video that we produced yesterday or the day before, all about Call of Duty, and it's in our red zone. You got a bunch of things here. IMVU is very dangerous. It's where users create custom avatars and talk with people. Kick Messenger. There's a lot of speculation about the future of Kick and whether it's not. We believe that it's going to be around for a long time. Kick is full of predators and anonymous people. It's also based not in the US, which means we don't have jurisdiction over the actual people that are on it. So we can't kind of go after them. They are trying to move it to the US, but I wouldn't trust them yet. People are like, you don't understand. I understand very well. I talk with I talk with law enforcement officials every day, every week about this app, and we see it in the news. So we could go on and on, but there's a lot of apps. This is free for all of you. And we've got another one that was just popped up yesterday. I don't know if it's on here, but essentially it was called the Meetme App. I don't think it's on here quite yet, but it's on the front of our website. So that's kind of an important thing, but we've got a lot of apps. I could go through them all, but TikTok is a hot one.
I'd love to talk about that one. But real quick, Roblox, is that a red?
Roblox is red for the following reason. It has had some predators on it, and you can build things on it, I know, and I've talked with them a little bit. I'm waiting for them to call me back. It's targeted to kids 8 to 12. You got to be careful. It could be in the gray zone, but first of all, they encourage kids to make money on it. I'm always scared of kids making money rather than I like them to do a cause. As a small business owner, I mean, don't get me wrong, but I want kids to not be targeted by how do I make a buck here or there. It's building their own games and stuff. Number two, kids, news sources like ABC, NBC have reported that predators use the gaming platform to target children. So you got to be really careful. Now, That being said, predators use the same thing on Instagram. So am I being unfair to them? Maybe a little bit. We could put them in the gray zone. Once again, this is a park where if you're on it with your kids, it could be the green zone. But if you're not allowing your kids to play it alone, warning, please don't let your kids be on any app alone, especially if it's full of kids of that age, because predators see that as an opportunity.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting just because my son, he's older now, but when he was younger, he was with Roblox.
We may put it in there. TikTok is based in China. And while I love my Chinese friends, we don't know what the data goes, and it's a music video social media platform that was purchased they purchased Musically, and they moved the Musically users, 100 million users, all the way to their Chinese servers. So all that data is now on their Chinese servers. And so TikTok can be fun, but they don't even allow TikTok in China. They have a different version of it that's restricted. So our version is very different. So they're collecting a lot of our data. So we just have to be really careful there. If you're on the same apps as your kids, it's probably better. And we got a lot of stuff in here. So
yeah, there's a ton of stuff. Again, yeah, for our listeners, you need to check out this page, because I think, I've been in the social media world for 10 years now, more so with my own kids. And so much of this is you're scrolling through, I don't recognize quite a few of them. So if I feel like, I'm someone who stays up on this and I'm seeing things I'm not familiar with as a parent, I think every parent needs to take a look at this.
So now we're on to the dangerous social media challenges. They're viral challenges. Please do not let somebody tell you that they're hoaxes, because a hoax is something that maybe the original intender, the person had an intention who created it. But the Blue Whale Challenge was a hoax until kids actually died from it, because kids didn't know it was a hoax. My friends at Google said, don't make an app video about this. It's a hoax. Wrong. Parents want to know about it. They need to trust people of character like us at Smart Social to go through it and use our process to unravel it. And kids were hurting each other really badly because of the Blue Whale Challenge, a challenge that encourages you to hurt yourself. There's all these challenges. The fire challenge. Some kids across the country are lighting themselves on fire or letting friends ignite them while recording it for social media, right? Momo challenge, a hoax, but once again, we got to tell people what it is and let them decide and talk to their kids about it. And then the Tide Pod challenge, encourage students to consume plastic laundry detergent pods and post the video of it to social media.
Yeah, that was crazy. And I'm sure you've seen recently, this is totally off, just for the sake of us talking. Did you see it? It was I believe a liquor company, maybe a wine company, because of the Tide Pod challenge. But did you see they were marketing recently? I believe it was some type of liquor in what looks to be a Tide Pod. And I thought, goodness,
I haven't seen that at all.
Yeah, I thought it was real. It was there one day and all of a sudden never mentioned again. So maybe they
I've never heard of
the whole
that
thing, but I thought, well, let's not.
But back to how to talk to your kids about that. Talk to your kids early, parents, because otherwise other people will. And do not say the phrases. First of all, say the phrases, but here's what a predator and here's what the bad people want you to think on the web. They want you to say these phrases. So say these if you want the bad people to win. 1, I'll wait and I'll show my kids the internet when I'm ready. 2, I'll talk to my kids about it when I'm ready, because I'll know what's best for them when I'm ready. I'll wait until there'll be a sign from the government, or there'll be a pop-up sign on my car dashboard saying change engine oil, and talk to your kids about safety, right? I mean, if you wait and you say those things, the bad guys love it. I mean, they want us to say those. 3rd, I can use the same password everywhere. I don't have to use a password manager because I am not a millionaire. I have nothing of value. They love it when you say that. You have every photo of your children online in your phone. You have relationships with real people. They would love for you to say that you could use the same password everywhere, that you don't have to worry because you're not worth anything, because that's how they get you, because you lower your, So you can dive in our subscription model for, I think, $10 a month. You can learn why a password manager is so important, how to set it up. We give you a free 6 months to Dashlane, really to protect your family. There are things that bad people want you to say and ways they prey on us. And a lot of it's a mindset. And a lot of it is colleges. If they see a lot of parents saying, "Oh, I don't have to go Google my kids. They're not online yet." I'll be ready to talk with my kids about this when I'm ready for them to be on social media, and they won't get on social media until I'm ready, right? I mean, the bad people love for you to say that because they want to get your kid onto Snapchat on the side, have your parents never tell them, and go over to their friend's house to borrow their friend's phone to log in and direct message. I mean, the bad people want you to not talk to your kids and not have a good relationship with your children. And that's the way I explain it, rather than saying you have to. If you choose to say those things, that's you're helping the bad person to kind of win. And that's kind of what we do for you, is help you have that discussion with your kids.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right. This is a great way to explain it, because kids are going to be online. I mean, you're saying even, as early as 3rd grade, you have to start those conversations because they're born.
Yeah, we've got a free webinar. It changes every couple months. Right now it's a positive. Why students need to build a positive website, a positive online brand. In a few weeks, it's going to be all how predators use Snapchat and Instagram to talk to your kids. So that'll be a dangerous one. That'll walk you through all that stuff so that you just at least have an understanding. Shout out to my team. They're amazing. They worked really hard on all this stuff. It's a lot of work, guys. So I do recommend that early and often you have a talk with your kids about this. There's just a lot of stuff out there.
And how often do these websites change up at the top? There were a couple weeks, you said?
The websites? What do you mean?
Or the webinars. Ooh. Where you just
the web, so these apps, we have so just to change the question into an answer that I think is even more relevant. Sure. There's a new blog post every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday about 2 or 3 times a week that we're just diving into bad apps. And then the webinar is once a month or so. Actually, probably 4 times a year, we got a new webinar.
Trying to do once a month. I just registered for that one. I saw it on your website the other day, and I registered. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But.
Yeah, so we're going to take it down here at probably in just a month or so. So, yeah, take a look, subscribe to our newsletter, and I really appreciate the time to share this stuff with you guys. Marianne, I'm going to let you finish off with a question or two. Let me know what else you have for me.
Yeah, I think you covered it all great. Is there, you mentioned a $10 a month, there's membership?
Yeah, we call it a digital driver's ed, and it's pretty awesome. You dive in and it's inside of our app. Our app is free. It's a lot of our information is in our app, our blog posts, but in the app, there's also a lot more that you can pay for too. You can pay on our website or in the app. It's basically $10 a month or $100 a year. And then we also have a build it with some families just want it custom. That's a little bit more money, but basically for $10 a month or $100 a year, you get access to our safety videos, mental health, positive online branding videos. And then you can also get access to our live group workshops and monthly Q&A and stuff like that too, if you buy the year pass. And really, really protects people. You can find out about that on the front of smartsocial.com. It's called our Digital Driver's Ed. And it's pretty easy to access. And it's also inside the app. The app has some incredible stuff, weekly guides, positive videos. You can ask questions in the app if you pay for it, if you pay the monthly fee. And it's got a lot of downloads on the iOS App Store for Apple and then Google Play as well.
Perfect. And then the only other question I have, just to kind of wrap it up, is, you mentioned TikTok is based out of China. We don't know where the data is going. What advice outside of looking at, in this example, where is this app coming from? Where is it originating from? When new apps and things like this are coming onto market, what can we do as parents to keep our kids safe and kind of feel things out before it's really, been tested, so to speak, by the general public?
Step 1, go get on the app before your kids get on it. Download it, get to know it. It's like a park. Remember, get to know the park and decide if it's safe to bring your family to it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Step 1, download the app. Not enough people do it. They just hand it to their kids and they go, that's fine. But that's what predators want you to do. Predators want you to hand that app over and not know what it's all about. Step 2, set up a social media safety contract with your kids at the age of 10 or earlier before they get a phone, so that they know they cannot sign up for any social media apps without your permission, your explicit permission. They will go to their friends' houses and they will be asked, oh, you're not on Snapchat. Would you like to set up an account now? If you don't have that talk with them before, they won't know that that's bad. So you need to have a talk with them, and you need to be on all the apps before they are with them and before them. Okay? Does that answer your question?
That absolutely does. And I think
if there's an anonymous feature to the app, run like the wind. If there's an anonymous feature in the app to chat that allows you to chat with strangers, run like the wind. Do not allow your child on that phone, on that app.
Good piece of advice. And two, I think, knowing more about it, like you're saying, to test it out. But I think us as adults too, because what I'm thinking here too is, with TikTok, for kids to keep them safe, and learning more about that app. But remember, I don't know if it was a month or two ago, when that one app that every adult I know of was taking advantage of, that one that ages you by like 50 years, and you can post your picture. And I believe it turned out that app wasn't so great. It was coming from maybe a Russian data source. But us as adults, how many people went and jumped on the bandwagon without doing what you're saying, doing the research, checking it out, and getting a good understanding of it before you just jump on the bandwagon.
Great.
So I think we're all kind of learning this together. But no, this has been a great source of information. Like we've said before, this will be visual in addition to just the audio. So I will be putting the links there. I will be including the links to different portions of the Smart Social website for parents to easily access. But please, please take some time to listen to Josh's webinars, read his blog posts, and understand, how we can help our kids just be smarter as they're navigating childhood, which is already fun enough without the social component added to it. So thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today. And, I'm sure we will cross paths again in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. All right. For everybody that's listening on my podcast, thanks so much. This app is brought to you for free by, this podcast is brought to you for free by my new app. It's free. Go search for Smart Social, 2 words, Smart Social, in your iOS or Android store. And you can download it, see our blog posts. A lot of parents have been asking, how do I take your content with us? Also, you can join the newsletter. There's a resources tab over there that lets you join the newsletter. And it lets you look at what it looks like. It's awesome. Download that. Give us a rating in the iOS or App Store of your choice. We are forever grateful. Helps us reach more people. I'm Josh Ochs with SmartSocial.com. Thanks to our guest, Marianne. Marianne, thank you for allowing me to share with your people today. I'm Josh Ochs. As always, keep it light, bright, and polite, guys, because your kids are watching, and we want to make sure that they are safe online and they are positive. We'll see all of you very soon. Have a great day, guys. Thanks.